Today I'll be covering about resective osseous surgery. Okay. So before you know resective osseous surgery, you should know the normal architecture, morphology of alveolar bone. How normally alveolar bone appears. So usually the interdental bone is more coronal to the interradicular bone. Okay. If your interdental bone is more coronal to the interradicular bone, or radicular bone, then that is called as positive architecture. Interdental bone is more ear level than the radicular. So coming to flat architecture, flat means both your radicular and interdental bone are at the same level. Okay. And negative architecture means exactly opposite to positive architecture. That means interdental bone is more apical to your radicular bone. Are you getting? Hello? So once again, positive architecture, the interdental bone is more coronal to your radicular bone. Flat architecture, both radicular and interdental bone are at the same level. Negative architecture means the interdental bone is more apical to your radicular bone. There is another terminology called as ideal architecture. Ideal architecture is architecture where the interdental bone is more coronal to the radicular bone with a marginal sloping. So that sloping gives a better adaptation to the gingiva. That is ideal architecture. If your interdental bone is more coronal to the radicular bone, positive architecture, radicular and interdental bone are at the same level. That is called as flat architecture. So if your interdental bone is apical to your radicular bone, then it is a negative architecture. So I think you are well aware of the osseous defects like horizontal, angular, vertical craters, bony edges, location involvement, exostosis, and bulbous bone. So now coming to the definition of resective osseous surgery. So what do you mean by resective osseous surgery? So resective osseous surgery is defined as a surgical procedure by which changes in the alveolar bone can be accomplished to get rid of the deformities which are induced by periodontal disease process and other related factors such as exostosis and supraeruption. So this definition is given in your Karanga. Resective osseous surgery is defined as surgical procedure by which changes in alveolar bone can be accomplished to get rid of deformities which are found by a periodontal disease. Okay, so again, resective osseous surgery is divided into two parts: definitive osseous surgery and compromise osseous surgery. What do you mean by definitive osseous surgery? Definitive osseous surgery, you know how much amount of bone has to be removed while surgery to give a positive architecture. So there is a definite amount of bone should be removed to get a positive architecture of bone. It is compromise osseous surgery. You know, uh,
एक्सक्यूज मी सर
हाँ,
सर आपका वॉइस बहुत धीमा आ रहा है
ऐसे करो फिर मैं पूरा माइक सामने ही पकड़ा हूँ अभी आई एम ऑडिबल
हाँ यस सर नाउ यू आर ऑडिबल
ओके
थैंक यू सर
Okay. Once again, I'll define the resective osseous surgery. Resective osseous surgery is a surgical procedure by which changes in alveolar bone can be accomplished to get rid of the deformities which are induced by periodontal disease. So again, resective osseous surgery, there are two types: definitive resective osseous surgery and compromised osseous surgery. Definitive means you know how much amount of bone should be removed to get a positive architecture. So definite amount of bone should be removed. Compromise osseous surgery means uh, to get a positive architecture, maximum amount of supporting bone should be compromised, even though knowing that that will affect your long-term prognosis. That is what we call it as a compromise osseous surgery. So what are the objectives of your resective osseous surgery? Why we will go with the resective osseous surgery? Basically to eliminate the periodontal pocket and to create a physiological parabolic bone contour. First one is elimination of your periodontal pocket and physiological parabolic contour is provided with a resective osseous surgery. And this parabolic positive architecture give a physiological contour to your gingiva, outer covering of your gingiva. Then to create an environment suitable to for restorative or prosthodontic treatments. These are the few objectives of your resective osseous surgery. What are the objectives? Elimination of periodontal pocket and to create a physiological parabolic contour. That parabolic contour give a proper physiological gingival architecture and to create an environment which is suitable for your restorative and prosthodontic treatment. So coming to examination, so how will you examine bony defects clinically? That is through transgingival probing, a bone sounding, which is given by Beasley in 1967. First, you have to anesthetize the area properly, then insert your probe horizontally at the level of your bone. So it helps to detect the osseous topography, infrabony defects, location involvement, and you should require a radiograph to confirm the findings which are recorded while clinical examination. So these two terminologies you should know what is osteoplasty and what is osteotomy. So osteoplasty is a surgical procedure by which reshaping is done to achieve a physiological contour without compromising supporting bone of a tooth. Is called as osteoplasty. Osteoplasty is a procedure by which reshaping is done to achieve a physiological gingival osseous contour without removing supporting bone. Is called as osteoplasty. Osteectomy is a here will reshape to a proper physiological contour with removal of supporting bone of your teeth. That is called as osteectomy. Without removal of bone when you are reshaping, it is called as osteoplasty. And with involvement of your supporting bone, then it is called as osteectomy. So, what are the instruments you require for a resective osseous surgery? Ronjo forceps, if you are using a rotary, then you should need a carbide burst. Then, to reshape, you should require Sugarman and Schluger bone file and then a chisel, ascending chisel. These are the few ornamentarium which are required while doing a resective osseous surgery. So what are the steps in resective osseous surgery? Vertical growing, radicular blending, horizontal growing and gradualizing the marginal bone. Vertical growing, radicular blending, uh, horizontal growing and gradualizing the proximal bone. Osteoplasty. So, as we know the definition, osteoplasty is a procedure by which reshaping is done to attain a proper physiological gingival osseous contour without compromising supporting bone of your teeth. That is osteoplasty. So, osteoplasty is indicated for a pocket elimination, tori reduction of incipient furcation involvements like grade 1 and thick heavy ledgers and exostosis, shallow craters, and small intrabony defect. These are the few indications where we can go with the osteoplasty. So once again I'll repeat. Pocket elimination, tori reduction, heavy ledgers to reduce the heavy ledgers and exostosis, to correct the incipient furcation involvement, yeah, to correct the shallow osseous craters, yeah, to correct the small intrabony defects. Osteoplasty includes first two steps of your surgical techniques, that is uh, growing and radicular blending. These grooves are carried out vertical growing is done at a line angles of your teeth. The advantage of giving a vertical growing is so it helps to reduce the thickness of your bone housing. vertical growing have an advantage to reduce the thickness of your bone housing. So once you give a bruise, then you have to blend the adjacent bone with those particular between two grooves. That is called as radicular blending. So this grooving and radicular blending is the if you are using the rotary, it should be done six bar numbers like 6, 8, and 10 with a high speed hand twist and with proper irrigation. So now the vertical, this diagram shows the vertical grooves are given at the line angles. After giving a vertical grooves, it provides a, or it helps to reduce the thickness of your alveolar bone housing. So once you give a vertical groove, then radicular blending. Both the grooves should be blended so that it gives a proper physiological contour to provide a proper gingival contour after healing. So these two steps we include it in a osteoplasty because we are not compromising any supporting bone of a tooth. Coming to ostectomy is a surgical procedure which is in removal of radicular and interradicular supporting bone to eliminate the osseous deformities. So indications of your ostectomy, sufficient bone remaining for establishment of physiological contour. So to carry out your ostectomy, there should be sufficient bone remaining with that particular tooth, and it cannot be done in aesthetic. The posterior area is most preferable, and interdental craters, infrabony defects not manageable by regeneration, horizontal bone loss with a regular marginal bone height, horizontal bone loss with irregular marginal bone height and moderate to advanced furcation involvement, and one wall defect are also called as hemosepta. So these are the few indications of your ostectomy. Once again, I will repeat. There should be a sufficient amount of remaining bone around particular tooth to attain a proper physiological contour. It should be done in posteriors basically, and in interdental craters, infrabony defects, horizontal bone loss with irregular marginal bone height, moderate to advanced furcation involvement, and hemiplegia. Yeah, one more defect. So, what are the contraindications? There are few contraindications of the resective osseous surgery. The area of insufficient remaining attachment, yeah, a bone with that particular teeth. So it is indicated only when there is a sufficient amount of supporting bone. If there is insufficient attachment remaining, then this procedure cannot be done. Then anatomical consideration, the defects more nearer to your external oblique ridge or zygomatic arch, yeah, maxillary sinus. In such cases, it should be avoided. Aesthetic limitations, as we are compromising bone here, so it is not aesthetically pleasable. So it is contraindicated in an anterior region. So what are the indications, so advantages of your resective osteosurgery? So you are removing complete pocket and establishing a proper osseous contour, and which in way helps in proper physiological gingival contouring and for a proper favorable prosthetic environment. So there are what are the steps which we involve in ostectomy along with the first two horizontal vertical growing and radicular blending. It should be followed with a horizontal growing scrubbing, horizontal growing. Interdental bone should be flattened with this procedure. After flattening interdental bone, the last step is to gradualize the marginal bone which remains after your flattening of your interdental bone. Once you flatten your interdental bone, there will be a certain bony specules which are remain at a line angles of your tooth. Those are called as widow's peaks. So these widow's peaks are recontoured in a further next step, that is gradualizing the marginal bone. So that sloping should be given while conducting a gradualizing the marginal bone. So in gradualizing the marginal bone, the widow's peaks. Widow's peaks are a bony spikes which are remain after your initial steps of resective osseous surgery that should be removed with the marginalization of your marginal bone. So resective osseous surgery again it can be done to treat a deep craters and edentulous area adjacent to your teeth. So once if there is a one more defect adjacent to your molar, that should be treated with resective osseous surgery. This procedure is called as ramping. So what are the basic rules of your osseous surgery? You should elevate, you should anesthetize the area, give the all the incisions, reflect the full thickness flap, and the scalloping should follow the osseous contouring. So while placing, it should be properly adapt to your underlying bone. The scalloping of flap should be reflect the patient's own healthy gingival architecture. The degree of tissue and bone scalloping is reduced. The interproximal area becomes broader as a result of bone loss. So osteoclasty generally proceeds with osteectomy. Osseous resective osseous surgery, whenever possible, should result in a positive architecture. High-speed rotary instrumentation should never be used as a scientific teeth for nicking or damaging the teeth. And final bony contour should be approximate accepted healthy post-operative gingival form with no attempt to improve on it. So surgical procedures are basically you have to anesthetize the area, reflect a full thickness flap. The scalloping of flap should follow the proper recontour of your osseous recontouring. So once you recontour your underlying bone, just place the flap on that bone and suture it. So what are the contraindications of your resective osseous surgery? Contraindications when defects are nearer to any anatomical structures like external oblique ridge, yeah, maxillary sinus. So these areas should be avoided with the resective osseous surgery. If a periodontal pocket have a depth of more than 8 millimeters, then resective osseous surgery is contraindicated. If the bottom of pocket defects expand apically around the multiple root trunks, then also it is contraindicated. And mobility. So if teeth is mobile, you should not go with the resective osseous surgery. So anatomical consideration when your defects are nearer to your external oblique ridge or maxillary sinus, resective osseous surgery should be avoided. If a periodontal pocket extending more than 8 millimeters, then avoid the resective osseous surgery. If the osseous defects involving multiple root trunks, then you should not go with the resective osseous surgery. And if there is a mobility, then also the resective osseous surgery is contraindicated. So, what are the advantages of your resective osseous surgery? Reliable. So, results are very good. It helps in elimination of periodontal pocket. And healing will be short on 8 to 2 weeks. You will see the proper physiological contour of your gingiva, and which facilitates proper contour, which facilitates the maintenance phase. So disadvantages. What are the consequences once you go with the resective osseous surgery? Because you are removing a bone over there, so there will be attachment loss, root exposure, uh, aesthetic is compromised, and there will be many patient complaints of sensitivity after resective osseous surgery. And there is a possibility of formation of root caries because root is exposed in oral environment, and some patient complaints of difficulty while difficulty in speech. So these are the few disadvantages of your resective osseous surgery. One, resective osseous surgery, you are removing supporting bone. That's why there will be attachment loss, root exposure, aesthetically not acceptable. and there is different patient complaints of hypersensitivity, and there is a chances of root caries formation. Some patients have a difficulty while popping. So once you do all this vertical growing, radicular blending, flattening of your interdental bone, and gradualization of your marginal bone. These are the four steps of your resective osteosurgery. So once you elevate your flap and do these four steps, first two steps are called as osteotomy procedures. Next two steps are called as first two steps are called as osteoplasty procedures. Next two steps are called as ostectomy procedures. Okay. The vertical growing and radicular blending are the steps of your osteoplasty. Flattening of your interdental bone and gradualizing the marginal bone is the steps of your ostectomy. So once these are done, once you attain a physiological contour of your bone, just place a flap and suture it. So any doubts?